is up? What is up, YouTube boxing family? It is IK right here. I'm back with another great video for you guys today. We're gonna be breaking down this potential fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, expected to be made and set for January 7th, according to multiple inside sources in the YouTube boxing community, LDBC and TWT related. But yeah, this fight could be made. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think this fight is long overdue, just simply for the fact that we wanted this fight. To some of us that wanted to see Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis. I think this is a perfect style matchup, just simply for the fact that people are discrediting Ryan Garcia's abilities of what he could do as a fighter. But when you look at the style, some people would say this is a bad style matchup, but to others, including myself, I don't think this is a bad style matchup. I think this is a very 55-45 type of matchup. And these type of matchups are very, very hard to tell because you never know what's going to happen in boxing. Anything can happen. But when you look at the skill of Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis, I believe that this is going to be a battle of who lands their hardest punch on the other fighter. And I think what Gervonta Tank Davis has shown that if a guy like Isaac Pitbull Cruz can have the ability to not hurt Tank, but give him a little stun punch, then I think Ryan Garcia has a very, very solid chance to make this fight go super duper downhill. Now, what do I mean by this? I think that when I say this fight could easily go downhill for either fighter, because both Ryan and Tank, they're probably two of the hardest punchers in all of boxing. I think Ryan, he's 2 steps under Tank, and Tank is like 10 steps over Ryan. And basically what I'm saying is that when Ryan comes into his fights, he doesn't expect anything crazy to come back towards him. Which, to any logical mindset, they would say, okay, well, if you're saying that Ryan doesn't expect anything to come back towards him, then Gervonta Tank Davis will be the worst style matchup as a fighter coming into a fight because he's not coming to play around. And when he hurts Ryan, that's going to show what's, really made between both of these fighters. See, now, that's a good valid argument. Anybody could say that for any fighter. But not every fighter, because some fighters have bona fide chins and they could take a shot extremely well. See, now, the issue at hand is that what can we see out of this fight? Because no matter what we say about this fight, this is a very, very tough battle that's going to come down to who has more heart and grit. And I think that when we look at this fight, Gervonta Tank Davis has way more heart and grit, and he has a lot more resiliency as a fighter. But when we look at Ryan Garcia, he has a lot more hyperactive talent, and he presents more of a perseverance coming into a fight. So if you think he's going to lose, you're going to be fooled by the eye test, because you may think he's going to lose, but it's really not built like that. If anything, Ryan Garcia, he has a very, very good mindset coming into his fights, where he doesn't let anybody just tell him what to do. He goes in there believing in himself to think that he could be the victor in this fight, in which every fighter needs to have that, because why would you be boxing to come into a mindset where you may lose and you may win? No, this is like your life being put on the line, and therefore you have to give it your all. So The biggest takeaway from this is that this is a very, very good matchup. I think that this is not going to go the distance. I think that Gervonta Tank Davis will stop Ryan Garcia, but it's going to be a very, very difficult stoppage because Ryan Garcia, he has all the advantages to outbox Tank if he can use his jab actively. But knowing that he does not use his jab enough, I think this fight is not going to go the distance because Gervonta Davis has shown that anybody that has the advantages over him, he usually ends up figuring you out very quickly, and then he could take you down, very fast. So now the biggest take of the matter is just that how does this fight play out? To me, I think that this fight is going to come down to the battle of power shots. How this fight will ever be emulated is just that you can't say that Tank is just going to come in there and hit Ryan with all the greatest shots he can do, because he can't do that with Ryan. Ryan's already emulating how the fight's going to go down in his head. He's not thinking like, okay, I'm gonna come in here, knock this, little guy out, and then I'm gonna basically go about, my way to win. And I don't think that's how, this fight will go down. I think that this fight will easily go down to who's able to land their shots more cleaner and effectively, and who's able to create enough separation in their skill set to be successful in what they do. See, now, I do believe when it comes down to the level of skill set between these guys, I think that Ryan, he obviously shows a lot more flaws than Tank, but with Tank, he has very, very little flaws, and the only thing that I criticize him on is just making sure he positions his defensive mechanisms coming into the fight. Sometimes he's a little bit awkward coming into his bouts because he doesn't know what exactly he wants to do. In which I will say he is a very slow starter, but when you do look at the fights that he's in, he doesn't need to exert himself enough where he has to go in and play high level speed chess. So my whole breakdown of this fight is that from round 1 all the way up to round 5, Gervonta Tank Davis is going to do the same thing that he did to Rolly, to Ryan. But the issue of the matter is that Ryan is not going to let Tank get away with what he wants to do. He's either going to press Tank with a good hard press jab and then try to land that left hook, in which he's going to make Tank work for his shots. He's not gonna let Tank just come in there and just basically dog walk him and then fight's over, because that's what everybody's going to think out of this fight. They're thinking that Ryan Garcia has all the disadvantages to lose extremely fast to Tank. But this is a very, very interesting matchup that a lot of people are just basically walking away from, to think that this fight is not, as competitive as it should be. And, I truly believe that this fight will be competitive. The only fact of the matter is, what can we expect out of these guys? Because if Ryan's able to actually make this fight competitive, where Tank is actually overlooking Ryan, which I think this is how it's all going to go down. Either Tank is coming in on a bad night and he's not going to look as sharp against a guy like Ryan Garcia, who will come in bigger in this fight, no doubt about it. Whether if this fight is at 135 or 140, but knowing that Tank is the A side, he obviously wants 135. So I think Ryan, he's going to come to that table, because I'm very well sure he can very well cut down to 135. It's just that for the matter of where he's at in his career, him being older, I think it's best for him to keep his campaign at 140, because Ryan looks way stronger at 140. He's just as strong as at 135 as he is at 140, but to, basically eliminate the stress between them, knowing that this is a non-title fight. Like it shouldn't matter, about the weight discrepancy. I mean, if they can give a grace period of weight that Ryan Garcia can cut down to, maybe at a catch weight at what, 137 or 138, I think that's a perfect tool that's a perfect setup to make the fight, you know, to make the fight competitive. So I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. I just think where we at right now, knowing that this fight could very well be soon promoted very, very quickly, maybe by no, if this fight is made, don't be surprised if the fight is made by early promotion for early November, or maybe mid-December. I think that's how the fight is going to be promoted. But I think this fight is already it's already sold. Ryan Garcia, he has his fan base out in California and definitely Texas and other parts of the country. I mean, he's heavily promoted through other sports, which I think that's what every boxer needs. They need to have heavy promotion from all sports, where they're able to get as much promotion brought to them, because boxing would be on fire if they were heavily promoted by other sports networks. But yeah, either way, I think that's a very good mechanism to do. But Ryan Garcia, he has a very, very good business model. He works with Gatorade, he works with I think Adidas and other sporting brands. So Ryan Garcia, salute to him, man. He's definitely doing his thing. A lot of people just try doubting him, and I don't think that's really the right way to really go about Ryan Garcia's career, because he's definitely making the effort to try to make himself a name, but it's not he's doing anything superb in his career. And that's really where everything's gonna go down, where we need to see Ryan do more things in his career. And I think he can do it, but he just needs to prove it at this point. So I mean, either way, it's good that Ryan is coming to the table with Tank, and I'm hoping that this fight is made to be actually officialized, and then we can actually see this fight come in. Now for the undercard, I think the undercard should have a lot of good young talent. I wouldn't mind guys like Michelle Rivera, Edwin De Los Santos. Definitely have Frank Martin on the card, even though he's gonna fight Chris Colbert, in which I think that's how that fight is probably gonna be promoted. But then again, if I don't know, I think Colbert and Frank Martin, they're gonna probably fight each other on Errol Spence's card. So I'm pretty sure when EJ makes his announcement date of who he's gonna fight, then that's how everything will go down, unfortunately, because I'm not gonna talk about Bud and Spence in this video, but I'll save it for another video for anybody that wants to hear my take on this, that this fight is unfortunately not happening as I expected. And we'll talk more about it, because I'm very pissed off, but I just don't know how to really see that fight ever come into fruition, because it's really sad that Crawford and his team are just glorified pussies. And I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna save it for another good video. And I know for all the crazy casuals watching it, they're gonna come right in, and that's basically how everything will go down. But either way, let's make a final breakdown prediction of this fight. I truly believe Ryan Garcia will get stopped. This is not going the distance. Gervonta Tank Davis is most likely coming into this fight with a lot of pressure, and I think, depending on how we see this go down, I just don't know how Ryan Garcia is going to facilitate himself in this fight. It very well could be very, hard to even see a clear winner, for Ryan Garcia to make this fight, anywhere near competitive. But I think my best advice for either guy, if I'm, in the midst of training Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis, in which for Ryan's case, I'll get Ryan out of the way. Ryan needs to use his advantages. Do not, I say again, do not trade with Gervonta Tank Davis. If you trade with him, it is not going to be a very easy night. It's going to be a very terrible night. He's going to get countered. He's going to leave himself wide open. That's Ryan's biggest weakness. He has a massive disadvantage of leaving his chin wide open when he's trying to trade. And I think what ends up happening is that Gervonta Tank Davis has a very high ring IQ, where he is very good at setting up his shots and knowing when to come in at the right place at the right time to be successful. And I think that's what makes him, I think that's what makes Gervonta Tank Davis like one of the most dangerous boxer punchers in all of boxing when it comes to southpaws. And he is probably one of the most bona fide, boxers, out of the entire sport, next to Errol Spence. Definitely, who's the other guy? Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and I'd probably say maybe David Morrell. I mean, David Morrell, he's definitely a problem. But either way, man, Gervonta Davis, he has so much skill in what he does now. He could basically beat almost every single fighter from 147 pounds down to 130. And that just speaks so much volume, because Tank is just that good of a monster where, he's just that good of a fighter where, you can't figure him out. He has different levels that he just amps up. And, this fight is going to be a very, very interesting fight. And regardless of what anybody says, Ryan Garcia just has all the tools in the making to make this fight competitive, or he could very well get stopped. And I think that's how the fight could very well end up happening, because Ryan, he has, a good, how should I say, he knows what he's doing coming into a fight, but when he's getting careless on defense, that's really what makes up the fight very not so competitive. And I think that's what's going to be, the game breaker of this fight, where Ryan Garcia, he's going to be defensively irresponsible in this fight with Tank. And I think Tank will very well, become, the victor out of this fight. So I guess with my advice with Ryan is that you have to use your jab. You have to outbox Tank. You have to make him frustrated. You cannot come blow for blow with Tank. If he catches him, Tank has to be perfect for 1 second. Ryan Garcia has to be perfect for the duration of 12 rounds, or at least for a second of a time frame, to hurt Tank or to be successful to apply pressure to Tank. Because I don't think Ryan, he will ever be close to stopping Tank, but if he is able to stop him, that's going to speak a lot of volume of how Ryan and Tank will, basically play out, because people are starting to see that Gervonta Davis, if he's able to get stunned a little bit by Isaac Cruz, in which, I wasn't really sold on him getting hurt. It just looked like he got a little bit buzzed, but there's never been any other time where Tank was getting hurt in any of his fights. So I just think how this fight will go down, it's going to be the battle of who's able to land their power shots, the most. And if this fight is going to go the full distance, it's probably not, but let's just say if Gervonta is able to hurt Ryan in any of those rounds leading up to the final round at the final bell, I think Gervonta, he's going to be looked at a lot more differently about his power, because I think Tank has amazing power. I think his power is going to always be there, where he has deadly power. It's not like regular style power. It's power that hurts you, extensively throughout the duration of a fight. And he's just such a deadly, heavy-fisted, person. So I think with Ryan's abilities, this fight is definitely going to be a battle of who's going to outthink who in the exchange of landing their best power punch. Because Gervonta, he's not just coming in there to knock you out. He's coming in to box before he knocks you out, and that's why I like boxer punchers a lot. So just out of like how I see the elements between both fighters, Gervonta Davis's abilities are way more elementally stronger than Ryan Garcia's abilities. But if Ryan Garcia is able to use a certain tactic to hurt Tank and to make this fight competitive, then Ryan Garcia could very well win this fight, but it's not going to be by a huge margin. It's going to be by a slim margin where he was able to hurt Tank with a good shot. And if he's able to even drop Tank, which I don't think that's ever going to happen, in which Ryan Garcia, he's been dropped before by a non-puncher in Luke Campbell, I think that is going to be the game breaker of this fight. Ryan Garcia is either going to think so much about landing a big punch, where if Tank hits him right on his chin or to the body, which that's my prediction for the 6th round, I think Gervonta Tank Davis is already in Ryan's head to be the victor by knockout. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that this fight is going the distance, or do you think Gervonta Tank Davis is going to knock out Ryan Garcia, or do you think Ryan Garcia is going to brutally stop Gervonta Tank Davis? So let me know in the comment section, and I will see you guys later. Happy Saturday, and have a good weekend to all my fellow subscribers. And salute to the mighty LDBC, and salute to the TWT. So yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you guys soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So salute to all my fans. K-Rod Nation 24/7. We out. Bye.